Hello, hello. This is Teresa Gutierrez. Just a reading I thought I would do about yellow dock. One of my favorite herbs is yellow dock, and I'm going to be reading from 5 different sources about yellow dock. Yellow dock's botanical name is Rumex crispus. The generic name for yellow dock, rumex, is derived from the Latin rumex, meaning a lance in reference to the shape of its leaves. Its species name, crispus, is from the Latin crisped in reference to its leaves as well, being crisped at the edges. Yellow dock has many bodily influences. It's an alterative, anti-scorbutic, anti-scrofulous, anti-syphilitic, astringent, bitter, cathartic, cholagogue, depurative, hepatic, laxative. Its leaves are nutritive, and it's also used as a tonic. Usually, when we talk about yellow dock, we're talking about yellow dock root, but you can use the leaves and the seeds as well. It's just less common, and we will discuss that more a little later. Yellow dock is an excellent blood cleanser, tonic, and builder, working through increasing the ability of the liver and related organs to strain and purify the blood and lymph system. It achieves its tonic properties through the astringent purification of the blood supply to the glands. Yellow dock roots has one of the highest iron contents in nature and is an effective tonic treatment for anemia during pregnancy and anemia in general. It is used to treat skin diseases, liver disorders, and iron deficiency. It will also nourish the spleen. It will tone up the entire system and is good for diseases such as skin infections, tumors, liver and gallbladder problems, ulcers, and even itchy skin. It makes an excellent salve for itchy skin diseases and swellings of glands or otherwise. It acts as a laxative because it stimulates the flow of bile. Externally, yellow dock is applied to bleeding, hemorrhoids, and wounds. Yellow dock tightens varicose veins. Yellow dock is an excellent cleansing herb for the lymphatic system. Yellow dock is a great endurance builder. Yellow dock balances body chemistry with its high mineral content. It nourishes the glands and builds the immune system. Yellow dock tones the entire system, especially the pineal gland. Yellow dock is sometimes used in arsenic poisoning. Yellow dock strengthens and tones the entire system. It is very valuable for cleansing the blood, boils, ulcers, and wounds. And again, it's high in iron. This herb is beneficial and recommended during pregnancy as it aids in iron assimilation and will help to prevent infant jaundice. Now remember, when we're taking up more iron, we want to make sure we're also getting a lot of vitamin C, 50 to 100 milligrams. So there's a huge list of benefits for yellow dock root in this book that I just read to you from the Little Herb Encyclopedia, the Handbook of Nature's Remedies for a Healthier Life by Jack Richardson, Naturopathic Doctor, 3rd edition. So some that he has highlighted beyond what I've just said is, let's see here, cancer, chicken pox, topical for the itch, ulcerated eyelids, hives, let's see, rheumatism, scurvy, and sores in general. But the list is absolutely massive. It's really good. I'm going to read off some of the vitamins and minerals found in yellow dock. It has vitamin A from retinol and carotene, vitamin B1 and B12, vitamin C, obviously iron, manganese, phosphorus, and trace minerals. One of the things I love about Yellow Dock and how gentle but very effective it is for the liver is it helps me to not get a menstruation migraine. So when I take Yellow Dock root syrup every day, I do not get a menstruation migraine. This is because my liver is better able to process the hormonal changes with ease and grace. Yellow Dock is a great support on every level: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. She's especially great at supporting people who are afraid of change and who resist or struggle with transitioning to new environments, new seasons, new cycles. In every level, Yellow Dock builds our inner strength, grit, and resilience. And I wanted to share some information by Rosalie de la Forêt. She is talking about Yellow Dock as an alternative and a bitter. It's a bitter alternative that can be used to gently stimulate the liver and help the body remove waste. As a result, it is commonly used, like many of our alternative bitters, to promote healthy digestion and to help clear hot, inflamed skin conditions such as acne and eczema. While it is often recommended to be internally taken, herbalist Darcy Williamson also likes to use the root in a salve to soothe skin conditions. Herbalist David Winston notes that Yellow Dock root has been used topically for mastitis, bed sores, and poison ivy. King's American Dispensary, an eclectic herbalist text written in the late 19th century, recommends reaching for Yellow Dock root when there is epigastric fullness and pain and aching or darting pain in the left chest with flatulent distension of the stomach and irritations of gas. Yellow Dock root has been historically used to address tumors and cancer. It contains emodin, E-M-O-D-I-N, a constituent which has been shown to have beneficial effects in fighting cancer. Eclectic herbalists often recommend Yellow Dock root as a lymphatic herb to address swollen lymph glands. There's many herbs that can help with swollen lymph glands. It's just nice to know that nature provides us with more than one solution to the same problem. In a double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trial, a cream made with Rumex occidentalis, which is a different form of Yellow Dock, was shown to be safe and effective for reducing melasma, darkening skin. The study was done on Filipinos. So we are going to scroll down here to look at the fact that it's iron is very supportive and is completely safe during pregnancy, included with a diet with enough vitamin C, but it also helps alleviate the minor constipation of pregnancy. So I thought that was also, useful. I never had that issue when I had my babies, but I know some people do, and that is a wonderful addition that we don't even have to be afraid of or worried about getting getting the body addicted to a laxative, because Yellow Dock root actually heals the intestine in its proper peristaltic action instead of getting our intestines to be addicted to a laxative, and kind of turns that action off. So it's also, Yellow Dock's gentle while being effective in this laxative action. And it's the perfect herb to reach for first, because using harsher herbal laxatives can be pretty uncomfortable sometimes. In The Wild Medicine Solution by Guido Masse, he recommends Yellow Dock root as part of a withdrawal strategy for people who have become dependent on the laxatives. He says that while a diet high in fiber and bitter greens is important for long-term health, Yellow Dock can help retain colon retrain the colon to function normally, again, restoring its peristaltic action. Yellow dock is safe and effective and should be used in pharmacies next to the stimulant and bulking remedies. Yellow dock is high in anthraquinones, which is one constituent to which herbalists attribute its gentle bowel loosening ways. It's also astringent and can help tone the intestines. It was recommended for watery stools by eclectic herbalists. The leaves can be used as food, but only the young leaves. The larger leaves have a much stronger taste. The young leaves may be coated in mucilaginous substance that can be rinsed away before you prepare them. They are sour and high in oxalic acid, so it's recommended to only eat small amounts of the raw leaves. And if you have a tendency to kidney stones, then it's not recommended at all. Better to consume them cooked, which reduces the oxalic acid content if you're going to eat them. The leaves are commonly used as in the field poultices to relieve the sting of a fresh common nettle or Urtica dioica or spurge nettle. So nettle can cause a rash, and the leaves can be used as a poultice to take out the sting of that rash. I love nature. Yellow dock shoots, either raw or cooked, are Sam Thayer's favorite edible part of yellow dock. The seeds are high in protein and can be ground and used as flour. They're often combined with other flours to be made into cakes, crackers, and breads. Although sometimes recommended, it is not necessary to remove the papery sheath of the seeds before grinding or cooking them to eat. Eclectic herbalists had many more uses for yellow dock root than we commonly see today in practice. King's American Dispensary recommends it for scorbutic scurvy, cutaneous, scrofulous, glandular swellings, fibrous tumors, syphilis, and leprosy, and elephantitis. Yellow dock root was also historically recommended when a person had feeble recuperative power, irritative, dry laryngotracheal cough, stubborn, dry summer cough, and chronic sore throat with glandular enlargements. You have got to love this plant. So some of the ways that it's prepared, as we mentioned, the fresh young leaves and mature seeds can be eaten, and the roots are used as medicine, not as food. So if you're harvesting your own yellow dock root, harvest the roots once the plant has gone to seed and the seeds have fully matured. Use the roots fresh to simmer for syrup or extract into alcohol, or chop the roots finely and dry for later use. To make a yellow dock root syrup, simmer half a cup of the chopped root in 2 cups of water. Simmer until reduced by half, strain off the roots, measure the remaining liquid, and add an equal portion of blackstrap molasses. Store it in the refrigerator and consume within 3 months. Adults can take 1 to 3 tablespoons a day. Adjust the dosage by weight for kids based off a 150-pound adult weight. To make a yellow dock root vinegar, add 1 cup dried root to a pint jar and cover with apple cider vinegar. Strain after a few weeks and shake it up every day as you do so. You can enjoy this iron absorption in your fresh salads and cooked greens if you like the taste. That is, it's not my favorite taste. Now, I make yellow dock root a little bit differently than Rosalie. I use half a pound of yellow dock root with 4 cups of water, and then I simmer that down to half, and I strain it off, and then I add 1 cup of blackstrap molasses, and I store it in the fridge, and it goes pretty fast because I take 1 to 2 tablespoons a day. And that's something you just kind of want to put on your calendar to make it regularly. So some special considerations: avoid eating large amounts of raw leaves, especially if you easily form calcium oxalate kidney stones. Avoid using if you have hemochromatosis. And another one of my favorite books, The Spirit of Herbs by Michael Tierra and Candace Canton, talk about the spiritual benefits of yellow dock root and some of the medicinal uses as well. So, spiritual properties of yellow dock is that it helps to free inner reserves of strength and fortitude. For those who are afraid of change and stuck in old conditions, it will help clear out some of the old sludge and rebuild a stronger inner self who is not afraid of dancing with life, just as the famous Zorba did, even during the most harrowing experiences of his existence. Now, this is also used medicinally to treat skin diseases, liver disorders, including jaundice, iron deficiency, whether pregnant or not pregnant, as a laxative, but also treating rheumatism and bile congestion, because this purifies the blood and the whole system. And it's really great for treating chronic and acute skin diseases. So that would also include psoriasis. Before we mentioned acne and eczema, and herbalist Michael Tierra said here that psoriasis is another one of those great benefits. This helps us to embrace change as an inevitable part of life. You can carry the root in your pocket, you can put it in a locket, or you can make an herbal essence with it. So you would have a tincture already made of yellow dock root, and then you get 1 ounce of water and you add 1 drop of the herbal tincture into the water, and that is the herbal essence. And the way you take the herbal essence is 4 drops of essence under the tongue and hold that under the tongue for 1 minute. Now, one of the affirmations he mentions is, I flow and work with the changes and diversity in my life. Some key words to remember for yellow dock is changes, movement, go with the flow, need to work and dance with the situations at hand, compassion, and self-compassion. And what else did I want to share with you about yellow dock root today? I thought it was really interesting that it's used for so many different reasons, considering I think most of us just focus on the iron aspect of it, but it's so beneficial for so many things that we may not even think of, right? Like the rheumatism or bilious complaints or astringent for piles or hemorrhoids, right? Bleeding of the lungs. So this is information from A Modern Herbal by Mrs. M. Grieve, Grieve. It's a 2-volume book set. So bleeding lungs, I mean, that's really powerful stuff, right? It's largely prescribed for diseases of the blood, from a spring eruption to scurvy to scrofula and chronic skin diseases. It's useful in jaundice and as a tonic for the stomach and the system generally. It has an action on the bowels very similar to that of rhubarb, being perhaps a little less active, but operating without pain or uneasiness. So if there is constipation, start with yellow dock root, because the other laxatives like Cascara sagrada or rhubarb just might be a little bit too cramp inducing, right? The griping, we don't want that. They believe that rhumacin is the active principle of yellow dock, and from the root containing chrysorobin, a dried extract is prepared officially, of which from 1 to 4 grains may be given for a dose in a pill. This is useful for relieving a congested liver as well as for scrofulous skin diseases. And then, of course, you can make it in a syrup or with a syrup, and you can use it internally or externally. And in vinegars, and let's see, again, she's mentioning here that it has a positive effect in restraining the inroads made by cancer in the human system, being used as an alternative and tonic to enfeebled conditions caused by necrosis, cancer, etc. It has been used in diphtheria as well. So talk about a fabulous herb for the lungs, for the liver, for the blood, for so many things internally and externally. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful. Just something to listen to while you're going about your day. I love plants and I love yellow dock. I remember teaching a class about yellow dock years ago, and it was in person. I just got to talking, and then all of a sudden I felt like this wave of love from the plant and how much yellow dock loves us and wants to support our bodies to be nourished and cared for and truly supported to function at its highest capacity, just with so much love and so much compassion for the human condition and all the things we go through. And remember that whatever we're using it for, whether it's an iron deficiency or constipation or a lung issue, lymph, remember to look these things up in the books Feelings Buried Alive Never Die by Carol K. Truman, or Louise Hay's book, Heal Your Body, because I find that a lot of times, most of the time, we become ill because something we're doing in our lives is out of alignment with our soul's purpose and with our inner authority, that inner message system that we have, all of us innate to us, to tell us what is right for us and what is not. And when we go against that, that triggers stress hormones in the body, whether we're aware of them or not. And then it goes to these specific body parts or health conditions that are oddly and yet make so much sense. It just always makes so much sense. Right? So just for an example, constipation, obviously trouble letting go. And what I find fascinating about having a hard time letting go when I do scientific hand analysis, where we find our soul's purpose in our hands, and the anal point where we would be releasing for constipation issues is in the Venus zone, which is all about self-care, self-worth, self-love, self-compassion, and self-care. And what I learned is letting go of our emotions and our past and things that we're just hanging on to or can't seem to find a way to move through and past is often because we aren't receiving enough yet, continually receiving. I think digesting our emotions and our lives is exactly the same as eating food. So when we smell food, we start to salivate. When we start to chew the food, it starts to trigger the whole cascade through the whole entire body. And when we take in new food, if we have a healthy digestive system, we're chewing it and we're eating it and we're finished, usually within half an hour, we should have to have a bowel movement. Now, if we're constipated, we're not hydrated and we're not taking care of ourselves enough, and we might be holding on to things that are ready to be let go of. And we need to decide what we want to keep and what we want to evacuate. What's waste, right? What's not useful, get rid of that. What is useful, we will keep that. And that's how I feel about food and digesting our lives and our emotions and the things that we can learn from doing those things. And just to know that these herbs are here to support us, not just with our physical health, but to understand that as we improve our physical health, it may reveal some things in our lives that need adjustment. And the fact that yellow dock root is so helpful for the liver as well, that's in the Pluto zone in the hand. And that is about radical transformation. So if it's gotten to the liver, that's our body and our purpose saying, okay, we are ready for some radical transformation. It doesn't have to be too quick, of course, but it does need to be started and taken a little more seriously than perhaps we've taken our changes up to that point. And radical transformations can start with one simple change at a time. And so just adding in yellow dock could be the first step. And then maybe after a week or 2 weeks or whatever we get used to having that new habit added, and we add in the next simple change and the next simple change. But anyway, have a beautiful day. Enjoy yellow dock root, and we'll talk to you next time.